All right, guys. So we have this woke leftist crazy person, and I will say crazy person because you're going to see why when he makes his little argument here, and we're going to talk about it and why it matters. All right, let's do it.
Y'all really want to try to say there aren't trans kids? Let me tell you what there aren't. There aren't cis kids. Okay, you telling your child, oh, you're a boy, you're a girl. This is a child. This is a free spirit that has not learned any of that bullshit until you force it on them. So cisness is the wound. Cisness is the delusion. Cisness is the lie. Cisness is the place of pain. Transness is the healing. Transness is the growth. Transness is the truth. Transness is what we actually are. We are fluid. We are 70% water. We are God. God is change. God is trans. We are trans. You are forcing your kids to be boys and girls. We're saying, be whatever you are, baby. Be free, be water, be light, be sky, be God, because guess what? That's what we actually are. What we actually are is trans, is change, is love. We're not the ones doing the forcing. And see God chiming just on time.
Oh, craziness, craziness. Okay, so normally in a sane society, we wouldn't, we would hear this and be like, all right, mental institution, okay? This is wrong because, first of all, trans is not the norm. Okay? Trans is not the norm. Trans comes from, I believe, several different sources, right? You're either gender dysphoric, which I think is not really as pervasive as they make it seem, or you are just a confused individual who doesn't really have gender dysphoria, but you're developing it because of the social contagion aspect of it. There's some sort of benefit for people who they don't know what they want to be, so they just want to be whatever you want to fit in. I also think that there's a segment of the transness that is perverted. They have, from a sexual sin nature, their sexual sin is so much that they've bought into this whole thing. And that would be the autogynephiles, and the like. So when it comes to the whole argument that this man makes about freedom and be God, obviously that is satanic. That's so obviously satanic. Because why? Because in the garden itself, when we were presented with the temptation, humanity was presented with the temptation of knowing the knowledge of good and evil, choosing to disobey God, to be like God. That was the original sin. Is this not what he's advocating for? Be like God? You can't be like God. Who are you but dust? We cannot be like God. But this ideology and this lie that he's perpetrating, it will lead more and more people down the road of confusion, of darkness, of despair. I look at these detrans stories coming out, right? These children who were manipulated by the same thought process that this man is presenting and telling you is the norm, and they were led down irreversible damage. How more and more in this broken culture where we are not rooted in Christ anymore, less and less of our kids believe in God. Less and less of our kids are going to have a way out of despair. So while our culture is leading them into despair, saying, well, you just be fluid, be like God, it's fine. Trans is norm. Not trans is not norm. Not the norm. We're not providing them an outlet to the eventual depression that these children are going to face when they realize that actually this is all a lie and I've done damage to my body, to my mind, to my soul that I can't take back. I will continue to call this out, even though obviously this guy is not all sound of mind. It's still important because then we see this kind of attitude in the boards of Bud Light and Build-A-Bear and Cartoon Network, which we're going to talk about another day. And it does lead children into the darkness. So even though, yes, this guy is a little crazy, the word vomit that he's portraying actually has real world consequences. So that's where we are in life right now. So yesterday I talked about these TV shows that are allowing people to expose their naked bodies to children, again, leading them to confusion, leading them into darkness. If you want to see that video, you can click on that here. It's less than 10 minutes, so check it out. And thank you for joining me on today's episode of Bold Reflections. And as always, God bless.